Okay, this video talks about questions that you have on the test review, and I'm just going to go through them in order as they appear on your test review. So the first one was on 23 on the calculator section. When you're solving rounding to the nearest thousands, anytime you're solving, if there's a variable in the exponent, you're going to use a log to solve. So we could rewrite this one as log base e, but we don't write log base e. We write the natural log, and then these two things switch places, of 184 equals 3x. And then to solve for x, you're going to divide both sides by 3, and that will give you your answer. Now, on the test, it says, just like this, write your equation and your answer. If you have this, that would be enough that I would count it as your equation. Let's put this in the calculator. So we have the natural log of 184. You have to close your parentheses, otherwise your calculator is going to give you the wrong answer, and then do divided by 3. Into 3 decimal places, you get 1.738. Okay, so that's how you would do that question there. All right, the next one, I want to make sure I didn't skip anything, sorry. The next one is about functions. So on this one, you're plugging it in. So this one wants f of -3. So we're going to plug it into this one right here. So when there's a number in this parentheses, that means you're going to plug it in. If there's no number, then you're not plugging anything in. But this one's got a number. So I'm going to do 3 to the 2 times -3, which means I have 3 to the -6. Anytime I have a negative exponent, to make it positive, I put it in the denominator. So it's 1 over 3 to the 6th. And then you can use your calculator and see that 3 to the 6th is 729. So our final answer is 1 over 729. Okay, number 29. This is like saying g of h of 14. So you're going to do what's inside first. You're going to find h of 14 first, and then whatever that answer is, you're going to plug it into g. So let's find h of 14. Okay, well, h is this radical one over here. So I have the square root of 14 plus 2. So I have the square root of 16, which is 4. Now I'm going to use this answer to plug into g. So g is going to, 4 would be 4 cubed minus 5. So that's 64 minus 5, which would be 59. Okay. Whoops. Moving on down. Condense into one logarithm. Okay, since we're going backwards and condensing, the first thing we got to do is move the exponents. And this log base 5, you don't do anything with that 5. That just stays frozen. You're just working with the other numbers and variables. So the first thing we got to do is move that exponent. Okay? The second, so let's rewrite it then. So we're going to have log base 5 of x to the 3rd plus log base 5 of w to the 4th minus log base 5 of z to the 7th. Notice that I didn't do anything with the log base 5. That just stays the same. Now I am working with this part. Okay? So now that I've got it with the exponents moved, now I can condense it into one thing. And when you condense it, you're only going to write the log or the natural log one time. So I have the log base 5. That's this part. Okay. The first two are added together. And when you add them, that's multiplication. So it's going to be x cubed w to the 4th. And then it says minus, so that means divide. And then you have z to the 7th on the bottom. So I took everything that was in green and combined it into one thing right there. So that's how you get your final answer. Okay. Next question. Evaluate with the properties. Okay. On this one, the first thing we're going to do is look at the bases. These are base 3. So we want to ask ourselves, can we write 27 and 9 as a base of 3? And the answer is we can. So I'm going to have log base 3, 3 cubed. Plus log base 3, 3 squared. Okay, so now they're written as cubes. Because of this plus, I can combine them with multiplication. So I have log base 3, 3 cubed times 3 squared. Now, what I want to focus on right now is only this part for a second. Okay, I am multiplying two things together with the same base. And when I do that, I'm adding my exponent. So this is going to be log base 3 to the 5th, because I added this 3 and 2 right here. Now to finish it, I'm going to move the 5 out front. So I have 5 times log base 3 of 3. And we know this part right here, log base 3 of 3, when you have the same number in the base and up here, that is just a 1. So this is 5 times 1, which is 5. Okay, these problems are going to be on the no calculator. So you have to be able to show me your work to get the credit. Let's see what happens over here. On this one, we've got a base 5, but there's no way I can write 2 and 50 as a base of 5. So since I can't, and it's plus, I'm going to multiply the two things together. So I have 2 times 1 over 50, which is 2 over 50. I can reduce that, might as well just reduce here and save me a step, to 1 over 25. Okay, so on this one, I have log base 5 of 1 over 25. Now this is a good start because 25 I can rewrite as 5 squared. And that's what I want. I want to begin to match. So I have log base 5 of 5 squared. Whoops, 1 over 5 squared. Okay, the problem is now is I don't want this to be a fraction. Well, if you remember, if we had 5 to the negative second to make it positive, we just did this a few minutes ago, we write 1 over 5 squared. But now I have 1 over 5 squared and I need an exponent, so I'm just going to go backwards. So I'm going to write this as log base 5 of 5 to the negative second. And now, just like I did on the other one, I'm going to bring the negative 2 out front. So I have negative 2 times log base 5 of 5. And right here, because the base and that bigger number match, now I know that this is just 1. So this is negative 2 times 1, which is just negative 2. Okay. Multiple people asked for 25. No one asked for 28, but it's very similar. So let's do both so we can have some extra practice on it. Okay, so to do the inverse, we have to change the x and the y. So f of x right now is y. So I'm going to rewrite this as x equals 2/3 y minus 12. So the first thing that we're going to do is add 12 to both sides. So I get x plus 12 equals 2/3 y. Now I need to get the y by itself. And to do that, technically what I need to do is divide by 2/3. But we can't divide by fractions. So instead of dividing by 2/3, we multiply both sides by the reciprocal. And on the left, I have to multiply this whole thing. 2/3 times 3/2 is 1. That cancels. That's why we multiply by the reciprocal. Now remember, instead of writing y, we're going to use our fancy notation. And now we're going to distribute. So I'm going to take 3/2 times x. That's easy. I have 3/2 x. And then I'm going to take 3/2 times 12. Now remember, to do that, we do 12 divided by 2. So this, whole number divided by the bottom. So 12 divided by 2 is 6, times the 3 on top gives us 18. And there's our answer. Okay. Let's try this one over here. So first, I'm going to switch the x and the y. So I get x equals, if I can write correctly, 3/5 y plus 10. So now to solve, I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. So I get x minus 10 equals 3/5 y. Right now, the 3/5 is multiplied by the y. We cannot divide by a fraction. We can't do that. So instead, we multiply by the fraction or the reciprocal, which is 5/3. Okay, so to get my final answer, I have fancy notation equals, now I take 5/3 times x, would just be 5/3 x, minus, I can't do 10 divided by 3. That's okay. Think about what you're doing. You're just multiplying straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So you get 50/3. Done. It's that easy. And there is your answer. Okay. Now, just for fun, if we wanted to take 24 times 3/8, we would do 24 divided by 8, which is 3 times the 3 on top, which would give you 9. If we had 16 times, I don't know, 3/4. 16 divided by 4 is 4 times the 3 on top would be 12. If I had 25 times 2/5, 5 divided by 5 is 5 times the 2 on the top would give me 10. But if I had like, I don't know, 18 times 2/5, well, 18 divided by 5 doesn't work. So I multiply straight across the top and get 36, straight across the bottom and get 5. If I had 20 times 3/7, I would try to do 20 divided by 7. That doesn't work. So I multiply straight across the top and get 60 and straight across the bottom and get 7. Okay, I hope that helps you with your fractions and whatever questions you have on the test. Make sure you check your answers. Should be good to go.